Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can leverage a new feature in the tool Read and Write for Google Chrome. It's the Chrome extension. And this new feature is the ability to add voice notes or audio onto Google Slides using Read and Write for Google Chrome. So if you're familiar with Read and Write for Google Chrome, we have the premium version in our district in BCSE. All staff and students have access. If you're not familiar with it, I would check it out. It's just a wonderful resource. If you're not in BCSE, you can still leverage some of its benefits. But the helpful thing with this is that it has this feature already built into Google Docs to where you can add voice notes, voice comments onto a Google Doc. It just has a little audio button off to the side. Now they have added that onto Google Slides, probably because Google Slides are the tool that teachers use the most and students like to use as well. So the use case for this and benefit of this is that you can use this to give students instructions in another mode of perception representation for them. So maybe audio is more accessible to them if they're learning a new language, or they just prefer audio, or if they're littles and they're still learning how to read, it can be really helpful. It's great for teachers as a sub plan too. So if you're out that day and you want to make sure that students understand what's going on, you can add voice audio recordings that describe what you're doing for that day. Or it's just helpful to build and put into your presentation if you want to make sure that you're always giving multiple means of representation to your students and always giving them the audio option if that is the more accessible option for them. It's just another way of doing that. So the way that we do this is we need to make sure that we have the Read and Write for Google Chrome extension available. If you don't see that, then maybe it's hidden under this little menu here and you need to pin it. So you can scroll and pin it. If you don't see any of that, then double check that you're signed in to your browser. That is not the same thing as just being signed into your Gmail or your Google account. It's another step. And make sure sync is on. If you have done that, then you're signed in because we push this out to all of our district accounts here. All right. So once I'm signed in and I have that, I'll open the toolbar just by clicking it, and I'll see all of these different buttons here. And the voice notes one is the one off to the side right here. So if you're familiar with Google Slides added the ability to add audio onto slides a few years ago. And there's a couple of ways you can do that. The Read and Write way is a little bit different than just using a tool like Screencastify and recording your audio, putting on here. It looks a little different. If you use a third-party tool, it shows up as a little play button on the actual slide itself, and you can move it around. Pear Deck has the ability to do that. But if you use this little Read and Write option, it pops up as a comment off to the side. So it has a little bit of a different look, but still super helpful. All right, so whenever I'm ready to record, I will click the toolbar here, and then I'll select my little voice note button. But before you do that, I do want to point out that it's helpful, and it actually doesn't really work unless you've selected something on the screen. So it's kind of like you're making a voice comment, so you need to select what you're commenting on. All right, so I select some piece of text on my page and I go through, I do my little audio recording here where I can talk about mako sharks and how they are super scary and dangerous and deadly, but also fascinating. They're the fastest sharks in the ocean. So I'll click stop. Whenever I'm finished, I'll click comment, and it adds it off to the right here. So just as a little bit of a disclaimer here, you have to have some piece of text selected for this to work. Like if I just select my picture here and I try to do a voice comment, it does not work. I have to have some piece of text highlighted for me to be able to do that. But whenever I have added that audio comment there off to the right, I can listen to it and play it back. Is the student, if they have editing access to this, and they can, click the little check mark and remove my comment. But if I'm giving this to students as a learning resource, they won't have editing access to it. They'll just be able to listen to my voice notes along the way. So that is how you can add voice notes into Google Slides. It's a helpful resource. I've also linked a few more ideas and inspiration for this in the description. So excited to see how you use this tool, and hopefully you find it to be helpful. Thank you.